knew that the technology was originally developed by NRC for scanning fine art, and they scanned the Mona Lisa. So from the very beginning of the project, we knew it would be used to scan some of humanity's most precious paintings and artworks. When we zoom in on a brushstroke, the detail that we see is really quite amazing. We see features that are 100 microns apart, and 100 microns is typically the size of a human hair. When we look at the depth, where we actually measure the height of the painting, we actually get that to 10 microns, so a tenth of a human hair. So it's a pretty unprecedented level of detail if you really zoom in on it.
An area that's very intriguing to me is you know, we've had forms of digital restoration, and we've had forms where we can in some sense turn back time and actually begin to compensate for some of the natural degradation processes and minute losses that occur to a lot of paintings. And that's going to be an interesting area to explore. So this painting by Monet is not in perfect condition, and that's true of just about every painting that's got a few years on it. This is more than 100 years old, and of course things have happened to it. So people like me, restorers, have changed the nature of the surface, and there's been a couple of quite significant physical accidents that have damaged the surface. And beyond things happening to it, paint changes on its own quite naturally over time, and it'll do it in very different ways depending on the makeup of the paint. In this particular instance, there were some discolorations in some of the lighter areas of the paint, along with some bits of dirt and rubbish that the painting had picked up from some of its structural interventions in the past.
So we found some really interesting things when we were scanning the painting by Monet, the second one that we had ever scanned at the National Gallery. And at first we got some really puzzling results. There were things we could see in both the color and in the geometry of the painting that didn't fit with the local paint and pigments in that area, and they stood out as unusual. So I remember puzzling over it for a little while, and then bringing Stephen in to look at the data. And what we were able to figure out is it was actually some form of degradation or contamination of the painting. So it was something that wasn't there in the original when it was painted.
And we decided, why not give it a go, that we would change some of those degradations and problems in the digital file, so that when we printed the elevated print, you were getting a view of the painting as it could have looked if those things hadn't happened.
So in a way, what we've done is digitally restored the painting. We've improved areas that would be adjusted by a restorer, potentially with a paintbrush or by cleaning, and we've done that digitally, and they're in the final reproduction, they look great.